StartWithTheHouse.com presents Getting the Equity in Your House. There are only 3 ways to get your equity. Know them before you need it. How to get your equity should you need it. There's only 3 ways. You could sell your house, you could do a cash out refinance of your property, or you could use a home equity line of credit. If you need to sell your house, you'd find it could take between 90 and 120 days to find a buyer, to negotiate, and to get to closing to get the equity in your house. You could spend 6 to 10% in transaction costs between closing costs, commissions, legal fees, and taxes. You may have to drop the price from 0 to 20% in some markets to find the buyer. So you have to understand, if you sell your house, not only is it going to take several months, but you could find that 6 to 30% of the value of your house is not available to you. If you look at a cash out refinance, it's going to take 30 to 45 days, and based on the volumes and interest rates and refinance activity that's going on, sometimes that could take up to 120 days. You're limited to an 85% maximum loan to value on a new cash out refinance loan with guideline changes that have taken place this year. And you may find a 0 to 10% value reduction with appraisal changes that have also been implemented this year. There's 1 to 2% transaction cost with the new refinance, sometimes higher depending on locality. So anywhere from 16 to 27% of the value of your house is not available to you in a cash out refinance scenario. The third option is an equity line of credit. If you have an equity line of credit already, you can get your cash today. If you need to open a new line, that normally takes about 30 days. You're going to be limited to a 90% maximum loan to value if you can find that. However, most banks today have severely restricted the equity lines of credit that they're offering to 75 or 80% of the value of the property, and some banks are not even offering those products anymore. There are minimal transaction costs to get a new line of credit, but at least 10% of the value of the house is not going to be available to you, and sometimes more. So if you're buying a house, what kind of strategies should you consider? Well, number 1 is give strong consideration to minimizing your down payment, recognizing that once you put the money into the house, the only way to get it back is to sell, to refinance, or to get an equity line of credit. And in each case, at least 10% and up to 30% of the equity in a property would not be available back to you. Keep your cash where it's liquid and available to you. Once you put it into a down payment on a house, it's not going to be liquid or available to you for a period of time. Plan for a worst case and a likely case. In a worst case scenario, what if you really needed to access your wealth? If you stored it all inside your house, you might find yourself in a dangerous financial position. And also, as you're buying a house, recognize there's often places you can spend money as you upgrade your new house, whether it's landscaping or ceiling fans or window treatments, that you don't want to find shortly after buying your house that you need to get that money back. What if you already own your house? What strategies should you consider? Well, first of all, if you don't already have an equity line, give strong consideration to opening one now. Try to find an equity line that will give you access to as much of your equity as possible. Predict your cash needs. Generally recommend look 2 years out and see if there's any scenarios you might need to access the wealth that you've stored inside your house. You may consider refinancing now before values decline further. As home values continue to fall, there's less and less equity available for homeowners if they do a cash out refinance. And if you do refinance, look at extending the term of the loan to get the lowest payment possible. And then, rather looking towards equity in your house, you may be able to have a better opportunity to build your savings on a monthly basis. You can learn more about equity in your house and managing that equity to help you increase your wealth at www.startwiththehouse.com, or contact me to build your own mortgage strategy, and you can find our information at startwiththehouse.com.